For this question, we want to solve the exponential equation. 1.73 to the x equals square root of 3 to the 1 minus 4x power. Up top here, I have a table of different methods that we could use for this problem. The first one is called relating the bases, and we want to try to make the bases the same. And this one can be a little bit tricky. I'm going to pull up my calculator here for a second because I want to show you something. I'm not sure if this question is meant to trick you, but if you were to calculate the square root of 3, you get something that is pretty close to 1.73, which is the base on the other side. But they're not exactly the same. So this, even though they're close, you can only use that relating the bases property when the bases are exactly the same. So we're going to skip that method of relating the bases for this example because those bases are not the same. So we're going to use one of these other methods. And the two methods are that we could convert the equation to a logarithmic equation, or we could take the log of both sides. Either one will work. I usually prefer to do this method here where you take the log of both sides. And the reason I like that method a little bit better is because it makes it easier to type in my calculator. So I'm going to pull up the calculator for a second and explain why. So on the home screen of the calculator, I have a button for natural log. And with that method of taking the log of both sides, as long as I use, you don't have to use natural log. You could also use log base 10 or honestly any base you want. But I always use natural log because the symbols are special and that button is on the home screen of my calculator. If you were going to use this method of converting, your log would have the base that is in your exponential. So it would have this base or it would have this base. And in this calculator, that button is not on the home screen. You have to go into the menu, the math menu, and down here at the bottom of the list, you have a log where you can specify the base. So I'm choosing to do this method of taking the log of both sides so that when I get my answer, it's a little bit easier to type in my calculator to get the approximate value of the solution. So let's take a look. And let's start by rewriting the question. We have 1.73 to the x equals square root of 3 to the 1 minus 4x power. And the first step is that I'm going to take the natural log of both sides. And once you introduce the log, you have log properties that are available. And the one that we're going to use is called the power rule. The power rule for logarithms allows us to take that exponent and move it to the coefficient of the log. So that will give x natural log of 1.73 equals 1 minus 4x times natural log square root 3. Next, I'm going to use the distributive property, and I'm doing that so that I can get rid of these parentheses. And I'll use that distributive property and multiply natural log square root of 3 to both terms in the parentheses. And that will give x natural log of 1.73 equals natural log square root of 3 minus 4x natural log square root of 3. The next thing I want to do is to try to solve for x. I've got x in two terms. I want to move those terms to the same side of the equation, so I'll move that over here so that the x's are on the same side. That gives x natural log of 1.73 plus 4x natural log square root of 3 equals natural log square root of 3. Now that I have the x's on the same side, I can factor out the x. That's x times natural log of 1.73 plus 4 natural log square root 3 equals natural log square root 3. And now I'm able to isolate x by dividing both sides by natural log of 1.73 plus 4 natural log square root 3. So this is going to give x equals natural log square root of 3 over natural log 1.73 plus 4 natural log square root 3. So I have my solution. This is called the exact value of the solution, and it's exact because you're not rounding at all. When I type this into my calculator, it's going to give me the approximate solution, and the approximate solution is going to be rounded, and it's going to have a little bit of error because we rounded, and that's why we don't call that one exact. So let's type this expression into our calculator. Let me clear this out so you can see the buttons that I'm typing. So in the calculator, we want to type natural log of square root 3. I'm going to close parenthesis for the log and then divide. And I need parentheses around my whole denominator to make sure we're dividing by both of those terms and not just the first one that we type. It's going to be natural log of 1.73 plus 4 natural log square root 3. So I hope you can see why I chose that other method. You don't have to, but we used natural log 3 times in this, typing this, and that would be a lot of times that we would have to go hunt into the menu to find that other log function. So we have got that this is approximately 0.40 if we round to the hundredths place. Thank you for checking out my videos. Have a great day.